Hey guys, this is the Blade Sickness here, coming with you today with a much upgraded sound system setup than you saw in my previous home. One of my last videos that I posted was me reviewing a Sony soundbar that I truly was disappointed in. The main reason I was disappointed in it is because for a living, I do car audio. So my whole job is making car systems sound good. Anything from your super old school Chevys to the brand new Ford Shaker systems and their upgraded sound systems, making them sound even better. So coming to that little Sony soundbar was a real disappointment. And in a case like this, we got our big 75-inch Sony TV. We wanted something a lot better than a little soundbar. Being that I do car audio and I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a home theater receiver, I went ahead and did car audio in the home. This whole setup, given I did have things like the subwoofer box laying around, it had the 6x9 boxes and some of the other stuff. But I put this together for probably about $300. So if you're able to source your stuff and find deals, I was able to put this together for very cheap. Going over the setup real quick, you can see we got this 212-inch subwoofer box. It is a ported box. It's got two of these JBL subs. They're rated 250 RMS a piece, but we'll show you in a second. We're not powering them nearly to their capacity. It's really not necessary for a home setting like this, but the nice thing about having a large 12-inch, two 12-inch subs in a ported box is that you really get that depth that sound bars and other cheaper audio systems really cannot achieve. Here for mids and highs, we have these 6x9s in some prefabricated boxes. You can see they're just your old school 6x9 box. You got speaker wire running to the back of them. They are black, a little bit faded because these were reused. This is black too, and this is it goes decently with this little stand that we built here. So we got two of those. These are the Kicker CS 6x9s. They're the new ones for, I believe it's 2019. And they are actually some of my favorite speakers right now that I put in a lot of cars. Coming from the TV, we have 3.5 millimeter jack. One of the downsides of having a home theater system that is audio designed for cars is that you can't use HDMI ARC, you can't use optical, none of the digital formats. But this is still a component audio system, meaning that you have a separate subwoofer and then these speakers running your mids and highs. So it is, essentially hi-fi type audio. It's not just soundbar. And you really don't lose much by having that 3.5 millimeter jack. It would be the same thing as running RCAs in a traditional like VCR setup or like a RCAs from your older school television. The moving over here, we'll show you that. This is a Kenwood radio here. This is a KMM 325U. It is Bluetooth capable. This one does not have a CD player. You can see I just have it on the aux for now. But the nice thing about this is you can Bluetooth your phone direct to it. You also have an Alexa here. So I'm typically, if we'll run Spotify and stuff through the television and just have it play through the aux cord from the television, but you could have things like a 3.5 millimeter jack splitter to run from another audio device. You could also Bluetooth the Alexa device to this radio and have it play audio this way. There's a lot of different options, but again, the main thing that we're losing out on here is HDMI ARC for audio and optical or other digital formats. In terms of just having a simple setup audio-wise like this, where we got two speakers and some subwoofers, we're not losing out much on much. With ARC and then the optical, you can achieve things like surround sound or the Dolby Atmos and the Dolby Atmos and the shooting up speakers. We're not going to have that capability here, but in this case, it's not something I was looking for. So, not too worried about that. This is just a little plywood stand. It's essentially just a plywood face that I built with some molding on it to match the entertainment stand that we also built. Maybe we'll have to go over all the furniture that we've built for this new house in an upcoming video. We'll just pull this out. You can see it's cage mounted here. There is the back of the cage. It's just a Kenwood receiver there. We got the RCAs coming out for the subwoofers. Mic is not attached because we're not using it. This is the plug for the radio here. We got power and then all the speaker wires for the subs, or sorry, not for the subs, for the speakers, and then power are coming in here. This is a quick disconnect for the subwoofer here. You can see the amp we're using here is a Kicker DX 250.1. This is a fairly older model that we used, but I had it laying around, so free is the best option. For power, the original setup, this is an updated setup from what it was before. Originally, it was a battery charger on trickle charge mode, and I was using that to power a motorcycle battery, and then that was powering things like the subwoofer amp and the radio. The only thing with that is you cannot turn off your sound system without draining that battery. So you have to keep that battery on trickle charge mode with your battery charger the whole time. It's a lot nicer to be able to, say you're going on a trip. In this case, we have this power strip that the power supply is plugged into. We hit that switch and everything turns off. There's no battery that is left here powered. There's no danger of fire while you're gone. So this is a lot more safety conscious. It makes me feel better at night is pretty much all it is. The power supply here, so these are what we use to power car audio walls and things of that nature. This one is off of the Amazonia Power Max PM3-55LK, if you're wanting to know it. These, from my understanding, are mainly used to power batteries or charge them up in like RV settings. In this case, this does 50 watts RMS, and we are just powering the subwoofer amp and this radio. I found it to be plenty. At work, I power huge walls of stereos and other equipment off things just like this. So no battery is necessary. Some people will argue that it is not good for these chargers to be run solely off of, or it's not good to run things solely off these battery chargers. I've been doing this for years and I've yet to have an issue. It may shorten the lifespan on them, but again, I would rather not have a battery in this setup. So we got our distribution blocks for power ground, running the amp, and then again running over to here. The radio itself is what's powering these little 6x9 speakers. The nice thing about this also, a car audio setup, is that it's very easy to upgrade. So this 250.1 subwoofer on these 212s is plenty for this house. Same thing as I found that just having these two 6x9 speakers off this deck is plenty loud enough for what we are wanting. But if you wanted to, you already have a space for two more speakers to be powered off this deck. You could add them here, you could add them in the rear, you could add them, to be side speakers. That's easy to do. You could also amplify these off of this deck. So on this deck, we have those three sets of pre-outs, right? We got front, rear, sub. So we are able to add amplifiers from there to, make it louder. Same thing here. So like this subwoofer is between the two of them, they can handle at least 500 RMS. We're giving them about half the power that they're capable of right now. So adding a different subwoofer amp would be an easy upgrade as well. I should mention that we are using one of these newer Bluetooth capable radios specifically because not only will it power our speakers, but also it has crossovers built right into it. So we are running the speakers, I believe, at 125 hertz and up. We go to crossover, front high pass, or 100 hertz. Since they're 6x9s, they can handle a little bit more. And then we go over here to subwoofer. Our subwoofer is going to play 120 hertz and below. I found that especially for movies and stuff like that, it's nice to have subwoofers crossed over a little bit higher, make them more lyrical, you get more shaking, etc. But in terms of performance, this has been honestly very impressive. Instead of having a little sound bar, which is going to be at least this much in price and have much more, terrible sound quality. A couple of big subwoofers like this are fairly inexpensive compared to even just like a single 12 or a single 15 powered subwoofer that you'd find in a lot of home theater setups. So this is an economical way to get great sound. The 6x9s, they're good for mids, they're very bright. Good for mids, they're very bright. And the subwoofers, especially in movies, they will literally shake the house, even off just that 250 RMS subwoofer. So, yeah, this is definitely an improvement. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. Let me know also if you want to see some of this furniture and stuff that we've built or furniture that we've remodeled as we've been moving into this place. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.